Welcome back to Show Me How to Solve It channel. Today we're going to build something super fun and incredibly powerful, an AI-powered chatbot using Python, Google's Gemini API, and Tkinter for the GUI. And yes, Gemini has a free plan, so this is completely cost-free to try out. Let me show you exactly what you'll be building. In this tutorial, we'll build a simple yet powerful AI chatbot using Python, Google's Gemini API, and Tkinter for the user interface. The chatbot will take user input, send it to Gemini's fast and free Gemini 2.0 Flash model, and display intelligent responses in a clean, resizable chat window, all in under 100 lines of code. At one point, we even asked the bot if it was subscribed to our channel, and it replied, "I'm just a language model, I can't subscribe," which is your cue. If you're enjoying this build, help us reach our first big milestone of 100 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. It means a lot and helps us bring you more hands-on AI projects like this one. This project is made up of just two files, chatbotlogic.py, where we connect to Gemini, guy.py, the Tkinter-based frontend. Let's walk through each of them line by line. We're starting with the file chatbotlogic.py, which handles communication with the Gemini AI model. The first line from Google, import Gemini, imports the Gemini SDK from Google's library. And if you don't have it installed yet, you can quickly add it by running pip install Google Generative AI in your terminal. This library gives us access to Google's powerful language models like Gemini Flash model, which we'll use to generate responses in real time. This line initializes the Gemini client by authenticating it with your personal API key, which is required to access Google's AI models. You can get your free API key by visiting aistudio.google.com, signing in with your Google account, and generating a key from the API access section. Once you have your key, replace it in the code. This client object is what we'll use to send user messages to Gemini and receive smart responses back. This function, getGeminiReply, is responsible for sending the user's input to the Gemini model and returning its response. It starts by wrapping the logic in a try block to catch any errors that may occur. Inside, it uses client models generate content method to send the prompt or the user's message to the Gemini Flash model, which is optimized for fast and cost-effective responses. The reply from Gemini comes in a structured format, so we extract the actual text using this line. It grabs the first candidate response, the text part, and removes any extra white space. If anything goes wrong, such as a network error or a bad API key, the accept block catches the exception and returns a formatted error message so the user can see what happened without crashing the app. Now that we've covered how the AI logic works, let's move on to the second file, gawe.py, which builds the graphical interface for our chatbot. At the top of this file, we have a few important imports. Import Tkinter, as TK brings in Python's built-in GUI toolkit, allowing us to create windows, buttons, text areas, and more. From a Tkinter import scrolled text, MessageBox gives us access to two specific widgets. Scrolled text, which lets us show a scrollable chat history, and MessageBox, which we'll use to display error alerts when something goes wrong. Finally, from Chatbot Logic, import getGeminiReply brings in the function we wrote earlier so that the GUI can use it to send user messages to Gemini and display the AI's responses. The send function is the heart of the interaction between the user and the chatbot. It handles everything that happens when the user sends a message. First, it retrieves the text from the input box using this line, which gets all the text from line 1, characters 0 to the end, and removes any extra spaces. If the input is empty, it simply returns and does nothing. If there is a message, it adds it to the chat display using the chat box insert method, prefixed with U to show it's from the user. Then it clears the input field with the entry delete function. Next, it sends the user's message to Gemini using the Get Gemini Reply function we defined earlier and stores the AI's response. If the response starts with error, it triggers a pop-up using message box showerer to alert the user. Otherwise, it displays the AI's reply in the chat box, prefixed with bot. The onEnter event function lets users send a message by simply pressing the Enter key. It first checks if the Shift key is being held down using the if condition. This bitwise operation detects if Shift is pressed. If it is, the function returns immediately, allowing the user to insert a new line in the input box instead of sending the message. If Shift is not pressed, the function calls the send function to process the message as usual. Finally, it returns break, which tells Tkinter to stop the default behavior of the Enter key, ensuring the Enter key triggers sending instead of jumping to the next line. These lines set up the main window of the app. Tkinter initializes the GUI, root title, Gemini Chatbot, sets the window title and root geometry 700 by 500, defines its size to 700 by 500 pixels for a clean, spacious layout. These lines make the layout responsive. Root.row configure 1 weight equals 1 and root.column configure 0 weight equals 1 allow the input area and widgets to expand and resize properly when the window is resized by the user. These lines create the chat display area. Chat box is a scrollable text widget that shows the conversation. It's placed in the top row of the window using dot grid with padding and sticky equals NSEW, so it stretches in all directions, making it responsive as the window resizes. These lines create the input box where users type messages. It supports multiple lines, binds Enter to send the message, and allows Shift+Enter to insert a new line. These lines add the send button next to the input box. When clicked, it triggers the send function to process and display the user's message. Finally, this line starts the Tkinter event loop, keeping the window open to user interactions like type in or click in the send button. Now let's switch to the demo and take a quick tour of the chatbot interface. At the top, we have the chat display area, a scrollable box that shows the conversation between you and the bot. Below that, there's a multi-line input box where you can type your messages. You can press Enter to send a message instantly, or use Shift+Enter to add a new line. On the right side of the input box, there's a simple send button that does the same thing, perfect for users who prefer clicking. Let's try it out. I'll type hello and hit Enter. You can see the bot responds with, "Hello, how can I help you today?" Fast, clean, and all handled through our Gemini integration. And that's it. You've just built a fully functional AI chatbot using Python, Gemini, and Tkinter, complete with a clean UI, error handling, and keyboard shortcuts. If you found this helpful, give the video a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to help us reach our first 100 subscribers. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.